All right, this is Joe Wong, and I'm here with FlashBlysk. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. The event has been awesome. Thanks for the interview.
Now, you were in the open bracket. You came in as sort of a Singaporean in the open bracket, but before that, you were in the Singaporean qualifier for the host nation, right? Can you just recap how that one went?
So for the Singaporean qualifier for the host nation seed, the winner was actually DM Pro An, who was also in the same group as I. So basically, I lost from that. I got destroyed by one of my teammates, who's a Zerg, and then also by another player who was also a Zerg. It was just a very hard time for Protosses at that time, and I haven't really gotten to theorycraft enough to find out the best way to beat them, and I wasn't really comfortable on that day as well. And Pro-An just went through that, going Immortal Sentry every game, from what I heard from my teammate, and it actually worked for him. So it seems like the Singaporean Zergs are terrible versus it.
All right, so you managed to get through the open bracket. It did have too many players, and of course, two more spots kind of opened up. But could you just recap your group experience? Unfortunately, I think you went 1-4, but you did beat Pro-An, correct?
Yeah, in the open bracket, it was very lucky for me to have the third spot, like two extra spots open up, or else I wouldn't have made it in. On the first days, I always play very, very horribly. It's very hard for me to get used to like the venue and whatever. So starting the second day, I barely made it past the open bracket, and starting second day, I was slightly more confident. Started the first game, beat Pro-An 2-0, which I was really happy about. And then after that, I was playing against Slivko, which was a very close first game. Second game, he crushed me. Then against Oz, and Oz's timings were just so good, like nothing I expected. And he just crushed me as well. And then I played Grubby, was quite close in the second game, but he just caught back up again. So Grubby 2-0'd me as well. And then the last game, I wanted to do something fun since there were a lot of viewers and it was my last game. And it doesn't really matter if I win or lose. So first game was pretty amazing. I actually won Lucifron, which I was really proud of. And then the next two games just didn't go as well for me. A few was build auto mistakes, and also the mind games that Lucifron played was much smarter. I actually got to talk with each of the players after the games, and yeah, they shared quite a few experience and we talked a lot.
All right, let's talk about, I guess, your LAN experience. Is this sort of your first major LAN with all these sort of international pros?
With international pros, definitely. I had one minor LAN event, which was in Japan, which was the AEC, with Sen being the only very known player there. So that was also a very fun event, but this is definitely grander. The production is much better, and it's amazing just even being here. It doesn't matter if you win or lose.
Now let's talk about kind of your relationship with some of the pros, because I saw you talking to Grubby yesterday, and he was looking through your games. I mean, what is it like, being so close to these guys that are at the top of the game?
It's really, really amazing. I mean, I try my best to, on the first and second day, just get really comfortable speaking to them. And I think it's a talent for me that I can communicate well with strangers, and like they could feel normal around me. So like first few days I already started to talking to Hasuob's theory crafting, and then standing behind MC chatting about stuff, and also talking to Sting a lot, and he's a really cute personality. And also all the Koreans, all the players are all really, really friendly. And yeah, it's just really awesome this way. And also after that, we look through games together, and I've played against quite a few of them, and I show them like what I could have done better, and then they could tell me as well, and they could also look through the replays for their games.
All right, so looking towards your team, I guess you told me Flash, didn't have a bunch of your players were, caught up in previous engagements. What's next for you in terms of this team and I guess the future in terms of tournaments?
The team is definitely going to grow much bigger in publicity. I am quite sure of that. the management behind our team is just amazing. They're putting in a lot of effort to try to boost what the team has, not only in StarCraft divisions, but in everything else. And I'm gonna start a stream soon, which should be featured, and I'm hoping that will help me reach out to the people who don't know me yet in the community, and as well get me some publicity. Like I can show people games that, which is really what I like to do. I like to show them fun games and then get them watching. It's just a fun thing overall. And future-wise, I'm not so sure, but I'm hoping this time next year, probably March, I'm going to Germany for a holiday, and I'm probably going to visit some of the venues there. I'm hoping to, at least. And hopefully if I could join one of the brackets there, open brackets or qualifiers, and if I qualify through, you'll be seeing me there. So other than that, I'm just hoping for more events in Singapore, and whatever event that is nearby, I will probably join.
All right, let's talk a bit about the C scene and I guess a bit of the Australian scene. Now, we're obviously separated by a big ocean, right? But we still get clumped up as sort of one huge oceanic region. Why do you think it's so hard, I guess, for people to have sort of a good understanding of the C scene? Why are we so, I guess, shadowed by a lot of the other bigger scenes?
Well, firstly, it's the skill gap difference. I mean, Australian players, they have so much talent, but they have the limitation in internet. Like, they have such a big latency to whatever server they're playing. C server is the only good server they can play on without much lag, but to be honest, it's a horrible server. There are not many good players there. Like, people in GM probably can't even reach Masters in Korea, which is really ridiculous. And I think Blizzard should do something like merge C together up with the China server, which is much more reasonable. And so what ends up happening is that many of the top players in Singapore or Australia in the C servers, we end up playing on Korea. But for Australians, they have a big lag, so like a huge latency issue. So that limits them from microing well and stuff like that. So that's one thing. And in Singapore, it's kind of different. It's just not only that the scene is very small, the skill level is not that high, so it doesn't force you to be better. And you don't have enough tournaments like IEM to force you to work hard at it. Like, I do practice a lot, but not enough to reach the full potential that I can be at. And as well as so much commitments in Singapore. It's a very hasty education system. You have to work so much for education. If you go for pro gaming, like, there's so little time you can give to school, which is like the biggest problem you have with parents nowadays, in Singapore at least. And it's just very dangerous. Like, do you want to take the risk in gaming? Like, I definitely do, but then sometimes it's not up to a kid's decision to make to take such a big leap into an industry like that. So, yeah.
So, like you were saying, I was talking to Pig, and he was saying, you know, there's 150, 200 MS difference in Korea, and when he went to the Prime House, it was, you know, really, really smooth, and he really felt that he could refine his play. But there are a lot of online cups, mainly, I guess, NA and EU focused. Would you like to see more, I guess, around the C region, or do you think a lot of C players just really aren't taking advantage of those, you know, $50, $100 cups?
Like the C region, we do organize our own small little events. Like, every week we have this thing called a WT Weekly, and it's a very small prize money. It's like first place takes all, and then $40. And King Kong does participate in it, and sometimes we have like some Korean players that come in here just to steal our money, but not really. I mean, it's a fun game, and like we have people like Jakji. He's taken the past two WT Weeklies like swiftly. He's only dropped like one game each tournament, which is really ridiculous. And other than that, each month we have this thing called a Masters Cup, which also a very small prize pool. But the thing is, these small cups, we do take advantage of them. Like, you see Mafia and Pig participating in them quite regularly, but there's such a small viewership, and also there's not enough good players, and skill level wise it's not that exciting to watch. If you tell like a lesser player, like, hey, there's MCs playing this competition, like one MC is enough to boost the viewers maybe up to 1,000. So that's the thing that is lacking in C. So if there's something like around that we could include the China server, that we could get a few more sponsors to do along with us, and we have C people joining it. For example, XGTL was a very good example that Benji, XG King Benji made, and then had the Taiwan players and China players, some of the teams, to all have a competition together. And that was actually one of the more amazing tournaments, which I was very proud to be in.
Great. So before we wrap it up, do you have any sort of shout outs to your sponsors, maybe your Twitter?
Definitely. Shout out to my sponsors, CM Storm, Cooler Master, Gunners, Mages. Well, it's all on the back. I can't really remember all right now, all of a sudden. And thanks to my team, my manager, my friends for supporting me. I haven't really spent much time with them, but they're really supportive, always making fun of how my face is on stream. And I want to thank all the production behind IEM as well. And if you guys are interested, you guys can follow me on my Facebook, facebook.com/followblitz, which is BLITZ. Yeah, thank you very much for the interview, Joe.
This is Joe Wong signing off.